Man, it's gone way too far, all right? When you at church and you have the club security, I mean, the ushers walk by with the baskets, y'all knock them out their hands. Because this, like, I go to this broke church. Like, they got the lobby area up, the balcony, and it's dirty. Like, nobody ever go up there. And the backyard need painting. But they give away coats every year. And they got, they pay people's rent. You know, they do things for the community. It's, the pastor, his suits don't be always fly, but every once in a while, the anniversary bus, a nice suit, but they doing stuff, and when I go to church and I see they doing things, it makes me feel a lot better than going to a church where we all got together to get past the Range Rover, and it's like he need to drive nice, and it's just insulting, you know? Like, there's people in your church poor and starving, and you living a life that's unnecessary. I done had broke, you know, a little bit in both, and if you drive a Neon or if you drive a Range Rover, it's about who you are, really. It don't make a difference unless you trying to impress who.
Absolutely. I mean, with Renard, he was saying that, hey, ultimately it's a business, but at the same time, it's not really supposed to be. Right. You know, it's really not supposed to be a business in those terms. And
that's what non-for-profit means.
And I think that's the distinction. I'm kind of torn with it because I feel like if a pastor, and we're talking about excessive, we're talking about, you know,
a jet.
You know, a jet. Right. Personal jets. We're not talking about Mercedes or Beamers. We're talking about Aston Martins, Rolls Royces.
Range Rover. You're going crazy.
You know, I mean, it's where it's like, you know.
But
it's a balance.
If it's lawful, you know, and when I say business, I just mean, you know, just like anything else, the church has overhead. You know, I didn't mean it from a standpoint of they're trying to, you know, just be this multi-million-dollar, you know, corporation that, you know, serves products. I meant from a standpoint of they have overhead, just like, you know, Joe's Crab Shack or Joe's Chicken and Waffles.
When you serve in a community that's broken, like, it's never overhead when there's still poverty. Like, if your mission is to spread love or spread the gospel or whatever it is, there's never overhead because there's so many people that's living in a negative state. So when you make extra money, it should be to open a school or send this student through, pay for a tuition or pay for a scholarship. It's so much to do at a church, especially you're talking about thousands of people on Sunday, thousands of hurting people. Most people go to church because they hurt. You know, they depressed, they sad, they need, you know, some inspiration. You sitting there shining, like, you keep working, keep giving, you'll get it.
Another thing you have to
$5 more and I'll give it to you.
Another thing you have to look at.
The Lord will give it to you. I'm not. The Lord will give it to you.
When you're talking about these mega churches, we have a few of them in Chicago. You know, when you're talking about these multi-thousand-dollar multi-thousand people congregations, they're not, you know, the majority. Let me say this. A lot of those are living, you know, well off as well. A lot of those have very exposable or disposable income, you know, and it kind of, I don't want to say fits the mold because you should be able to worship wherever you choose. However, it's not just the pastors that are coming in, you know, $100,000 vehicles and, you know, are living very well. It's just, you know, it kind of fits the mold from a standpoint of a lot of, you know, very well off people attend these mega churches, you know, and have that, you know, that type of aura, or that, you know, the shiny things and whatnot. But there again, if you earn that money in a lawful way, then you should be able to spend it as you please. If you earned it, you know, if you earned it accordingly, and as long as you're not breaking any laws.
And that's the thing I got with shiny stuff.
I think it goes back to that mindset, the vision of the leader and the mindset of the people that are involved or in charge of the church or the organization, because the church actually is supposed to be ran by the members, by the deacons, by the different board, not the preachers or the pastors, but the people that are involved in the church. I once was a deacon at the church, so I understand the whole dynamic of the church setup. And then you have preachers that do other things. You know, they get paid for doing funerals, they get paid for public appearances, they get write books, they write music, different things like that. So they can afford this lifestyle. These are things that they earn themselves. But like you said, you have some preachers that misappropriate funds where they're living in between the cash flow of the church, or there's not a balance. There has to be a balance, and a lot of preachers, and you go to some churches, like you said, preachers don't even get a paycheck or a salary. And then you have other churches where preachers get a stipend or a paycheck or a salary. So you have to get in tune with what the vision is of the church, of the leader, and find out where they're going, you know, so.
One last thing, you know, just real quick, you know, I'm not, you know, God or anything like that, but, you know, I do believe that it's a special place below the ground, you know, after you pass away for, you know, these people. I mean, no. When I say that, when I say no, a special place for these, you know, leaders of these different churches that do, you know, misappropriate funds and that do take away from the overall, you know, just livelihood of the people in their congregation, you know, as far as the church. I think if you know, taking somebody who's, you know, worshiping God and they choose to worship God in your, you know, your establishment as a church, and you're, you know, taking money or, you know, using their money wrong or, you know, just being bad with it, then it's a special, I've been told it's a special place. I don't know anybody that's been to hell, but a special place in hell for those people that do that. And I think that's, you know, totally wrong. But,
Absolutely.
You know.
The only time in the Bible where Jesus really got mad is when they were selling things in the church. Right. I just think now times is going back to where they're just selling. Now they got the gangster gospel music, and they got people taking worldly songs and just changing a couple words and putting money out, you know, making money off of them, making them religious songs. I don't know, like, I understand how things should be or could be, but it's obvious that there are more than just pastors and preachers taking advantage of religion when it comes to that point.
Absolutely, and let me state that for the record. I'm talking about any religious figurehead, whether it be an imam, a rabbi, whoever, because ultimately, you know, it's religious leaders. But my issue is, for me, because I can only speak for me. If I was pastor, imam, rabbi, grand poobah, Kenjuan, I would have a problem. With reconciling my own mind around purchasing anything of excessive luxury. We're not talking about a car, but a Bentley, sleeping on $10,000 seats, going to these exotic vacations, and it's anybody in my congregation, anybody that's struggling.
Well, that's an integrity issue. A lot of these preachers, like I said, it goes back to the mindset, what their belief system is, how they view the people in the congregation. And so we don't set high enough standards for outreach in our love. So that goes back to, you have to take a step back, take a look at this person's values and this person's belief system and see, is this a church or organization that I want to be a part of or belong to?
Absolutely.
And so you have a conscious choice. You know, every week, every Sunday, am I going to participate? Am I going to take part in this religious organization? And do their values match up with mine?
I heard two sisters real quick, and then we're gonna move on to the next topic. Two sisters having a conversation on the bus stop once. They were going back and forth about the cars that their churches paid for cash for their preachers. And I thought that was, you know, crazy. It was like, oh, we got our pastor Cadillac Escalade, and the church paid cash for it. We got our pastor such a, and they standing on the bus.
Right.
You know, something was wrong with that picture to me. To me. But next topic. Should celebrities take on the responsibility of being role models to children? Antoine, Tony, you on the spot.
Yes, I think they should do that absolutely, because they have a great amount of influence on the mindset of younger children, because they're influenced and they're very, at that age, they're very impressionable, and they need someone who they can look at. I can just remember back to my teenage years, you know, I looked at a certain role model. And it didn't have to be a celebrity. It could just be somebody that I thought that was positive in my life. That I looked up to, and I tried to model my life or image myself after that person. And so, you know, we take little bits and pieces from everybody that we meet. You know, it's something that I might like about this brother over here, and I like a couple of his jokes. So I'm gonna take a couple of them jokes and add it to my